So, as I told the kids, today's message is about supporting people on their path because today is all about the journey Keir has taken. And serving as one of Keir's mentors has truly been an honor for me. And it gave me this opportunity to do something I had never done, which is actually champion someone on a ministerial path. And I get to do that through teaching ministerial students, but not in the way I got to do this with Keir. It was a very humbling experience for me. And while supporting people on their path is what I do in my corporate world every day, and also obviously in the church, so these aren't new things for me. But this particular experience reminded me of what is most important that all of us should take away from supporting someone. You know, we tend to be those people that we support people as long as they do what we ask them to do. I know none of you know what that's like. So we say, yes, I'll help you and I'll loan you that money, but you're going to spend it the way I asked you to, or I won't be there to help you. You know, even this week while we were gone, we had a 4-year-old and 2-year-old every day in our world for 9 hours a day. And, our job wasn't to tell them how they were going to be. Our job was to learn how they like to do things and what we needed to do to show up and support them. That was the reality. But for me, when Cure first reached out to me, he was looking for a church to complete the requirements of this internship. And that simply meant that his goal, in my mind, was to cross the finish line, right? That's what I thought. His goal is to cross the finish line, become a minister. And he was very open to how he and I would do that together. So I immediately put on my business hat, right? 31 years in this company we've owned. I put on my business hat. I had a spreadsheet done, all its stats lined up, everything planned out, how we were going to be doing this, what we were going to do first, second, third, fourth. Okay? And that's all fine and dandy. And we both accepted our responsibility to ensure he'd meet his goal. And while a strategic plan and us taking our responsibilities seriously were important, those are the surface level efforts. And they had nothing to do with the inner journey he was taking and I was taking with him. Beneath that surface was something so sacred unfolding. And I had the ability to observe it in him, but also to recognize how I needed to shift in order to follow where he wanted to go, not where Nancy wanted him to go, because he wasn't a paying client. You get it? If somebody hires you to teach them what to do, you feel that is your role. But this is different. You're also helping them unfold. And the building of watching him build our relationship was a priority for both of us. But also watching his hope and his prayer and the longing of his soul to actually get this finished inside of him, to let go of any doubt he had about his capabilities, just like I felt when I was him. Supporting another person requires us to see beyond what's on the surface. So when you get that call from a friend or a family member, your job isn't just to hear what they said, it's to dig a bit deeper and try to understand what is behind that and listen with our heart. Because there's always an inner journey going on in the process, and that requires courage and trust and people finding their identity and patience. If you're a parent, you don't always like what your children do. And if you're a grandparent, you don't like what your grandchildren do unless they're following the path that you followed, or they're meeting the expectations you have of your standards. But that's not real because no one unfolds by someone else's standards. Everyone unfolds by their own. And that's our job when we support them. So we have to listen with our heart and begin to understand, what do they need? Not what do I think they need. Perfect example is moving here through the steps of our plan wasn't enough. I had to keep listening to, what did he want to learn? Not just what were we checking off our list. And one of the most important spiritual lessons that I think came from this process and comes for all of us is the importance of us recognizing that support is not the same as control. We don't get to control what someone else does. We're really good at fixing and directing and wanting to rescue people and organize them and correct them when they need correcting. But wisdom cannot be rushed. Everyone comes into wisdom their own way, including our children and our grandchildren and our neighbors and our friends. Everyone needs that kind of honoring time from us. If we want to support another person, we should be asking two simple questions. What will strengthen this person once we've listened to them? And how can I help them stand on their own, in their own wisdom, with dignity and power? Not how do I humiliate them and show them why they should have done it a different way. And sometimes people just want encouragement from us. And maybe they need a little space to figure it out. Or maybe they want someone to give them honest feedback or even hold them accountable. But what they don't need from us is for us to be the hero of their story. And that's an important definition point when we're reaching out to help others. My role was to help Keir see himself as completing this path in his own way, while ensuring he remained accountable for the outcome instead of seeing myself accountable for Keir's outcome. At first, it felt like this huge burden in a good way. Oh, I can't let him fail, and how will I make sure? But that wasn't mine to do. Mine was to be available, answer the questions, and support him as he needed it. The biggest mistake we ever face in supporting others is measuring them by our standards, questioning them as to why we don't see visible progress, or challenging how much time or energy they're spending on the things that we're expecting them to do. But we have to remind ourselves that every soul is going to bloom in its own divine timing. And if we pressure people to move according to our expectations, we actually may be interrupting the flow of their divine unfolding. Maybe it's supposed to take them longer. Maybe they're never going to get it. Maybe this wasn't something for them to get. But our job is to let people be who they need to be and not let our ego get in the way. We need to demonstrate patience in helping other people, which helps them see that we trust them and we trust that they'll find their way instead of being worried every time. Did you get that done? Have you gone to the bank yet? Have you done this? Have you done that? All those questions we ask. Unity's fifth principle teaches us it's not enough to know truth. We must live our truth. And we do that in any situation where we consistently show up in loving and supportive ways. Most of us appreciate someone helping us or offering solutions to our problems, but what we most appreciate is being seen and heard. That's what really matters. Someone to listen to us, not fix us. Giving advice without first understanding or correcting someone without compassion is not useful. But we can be that calming voice, that faithful friend, offer a sincere prayer, or simply a reminder that they're worthy, that they matter. And that's far better than sharing the world according to us. As Oscar said last week, our job is to walk with people on this journey in love that reflects the presence of God in each of us. Let's review today's takeaways. Supporting people on their path requires us to see beyond the surface of desires. What is spiritually taking place? 2, to understand that support is not control. What will strengthen this person? Number 3 is stop measuring by our standards. What does the soul need to bloom? And number 4, to live our truth and allow the same for everyone. How can we call forth their courage and faith? The affirmation for today is, I support others through spiritual understanding. Notice it didn't say intellect. So let's say that together. I support others through spiritual understanding. And the quote I picked was from Charles Fillmore. We expect you to go forth and do miracles and do important works in the sight of the world.